Now, this is where, according to Mr. Steele and others, that Iowa has the advantage in the trenches. So offensive line, Iowa State 30, Iowa 8.
Yeah. 8 seems really high. We're talking about offensive line?
Offensive line.
Like I said, I think both of them seem kind of high.
Well, I mean, I don't. Again, I'm always going to be skeptical about Iowa's offensive line because I think they're always overhyped. You and I both believe that. I don't know what Phil Steele does traditionally. I don't save these rankings every year, Mark. But they lose they lose really 3 big pieces, 2 of which got drafted in Colby and Richmond. Richmond was their left guard. Colby played a couple of different positions during his career. Tons of starts between those 2 guys. They do bring back Bo Stevens. They bring in a kid from the FCS who is probably going to start at left tackle, would be my guess. Jennings Dunker has been coming back off injury. Sounds like he's going to be fine for the start of fall camp. So they should be good at right tackle, even though I don't think Jennings Dunker is going to be a tackle at the next level. He's proven he can play tackle at this level. They're going to be really good at center and Logan Jones. And then I think Stevens stays healthy. He's got one of the guard spots. But they still have 2 spots. I mean, I asked Kirk that question after spring ball. Like, how comfortable are you with your offensive line? He said, we got 2 positions that are up in the air. That doesn't – if you've got 2 of 5 still up in the air, I don't know how you put them top 10. To me, a top 10 offensive line nationally is you've got 5 guys that you just have a lot of confidence in. Now, maybe there aren't that many proven offensive lines left now with the portal and everything, Mark. Maybe that's the truth, but I would have a hard time. I'll take Iowa, not knowing as much as Levi does about his O-line, but I don't think they're top 10 preseason.
The impressive number here as well, or ranking, I should say, is that flipping over to The Athletic, they've got a listing of their top 25 players in the Big Ten. And you can imagine what schools dominate that list. But they have Dunker and Logan Jones both listed as 2 of the top 25 players. All positions in the Big Ten.
I don't know what to say about that.
That's
all I can say.
I'm not saying it's incorrect, but think about that ranking. That's only a little over like 1.5 players per team.
And by the way, James in the chat, I said Bryce Drew. I didn't name him, but yeah, he's the FCS kid, probably going to play at left tackle. And Seth Shepard brings up Cade Pieper. Cade Pieper has not really proven anything. He's played some, but he's not some minute starter. So yeah, he might be that. It may be Trevor Lauk out of Roncalli High School over in Indy. And they have some other people, and it seems like they always have dark horses that emerge at some point. All I'll say is Mason Richmond was he a starter at left tackle for 3 or 4 years. Colby played as a true freshman. Those guys played their entire careers, and both were barely drafted. Now, it's a massive accomplishment to get it drafted. I'm not taking anything away from them, but you think about the best offensive linemen that have played at Iowa. You know, they're being drafted in the top 2 to 3 rounds. These are guys that squeaked into the 7th round. Now, maybe Logan Jones is just going to take that big of a jump. Maybe Jennings Dunker is going to take that big of a jump. And I get we're projecting and ranking for this coming season, but I think there's a reason those guys came back. I mean, you can talk about how much Logan Jones loves Iowa, but I think there's a reason those guys came back. So maybe they'll end up being that. I think it seems like pundits typically overrate Iowa offensive linemen preseason. They do it every year.
2 of the top 25 players in the conference. And that's not like wide receiver.
Yeah, players overall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying
I hope it's right.
Rarefied air.
And I guess maybe who is it that ranks? Is that Phil Steele?
That was The Athletic.
That was The Athletic. So I mean, I don't know what Phil Steele. I mean,
was Jeremiah Smith number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't know what Phil Steele, how he looks, how he goes through and does that because. I mean, he's a football savant, but I mean, is he an O-line expert? I don't know.
O-line people are O-line people, and then everybody else is everybody else.
So I'm never claimed to know much about offensive line play.
That's my deal. Like when I do like film breakdowns and stuff like that, I can look at route patterns and coverages and run fits and all that. But if you're asking me to look at a right guard and look at his technique, call somebody else.
They do have lots of cooks in the kitchen, Mark. We've talked about that between George Barnett and Kirk Ferentz. They got plenty of help there, even with Brian no longer on staff.
So, Levi, what do you think about ISU's
so the nice thing is that Iowa State's pretty much got its 5 starters. It'll be James Neal, Dylan Barrett, Brendan Black, Trevor Burr, Tyler Miller going across the line. They've moved Brendan Black from right guard to center. That's almost certainly going to be your 5, I think. They've all played very well at points in their careers. Dylan Barrett was playing really well, transfer from Wisconsin. He was playing very well last season before he got hurt. James Neal would have started at left tackle last season if Jalen Travis didn't come in and wasn't as good as he was. The thing here, though, is, as with Iowa State's offensive line has always been, is they've got to put it together. They've finally got the guys at all 5 positions where you feel really good about who they are. But offensive line has been by far the least consistent position group under Campbell, and which is I'm sure much to the frustration of Matt Campbell himself, because that's, he's very much in the same vein as a Kirk Ferentz type thing, where you're building the team from the inside out type of thing, or from the line of scrimmage out. And we'll see. Ryan Clanton has recruited the right guys. They took some steps forward last year, like actual steps forward, not the like spring ball where we think we're going to do good this year type of thing. Like they got better throughout last season. And we'll see. I just, maybe 30 is the right spot for Iowa State rankings wise. And I will default to Iowa being the better one, but like, I need to see it. I need to see Iowa State have a really, really great offensive line before I am ready to crown them as being like a top 20 unit or something like that.
Mark, I know we'll break down Iowa's positions too as we get closer to the season, but I'll give you a dark horse offensive lineman to watch for, and that's Michael Myslinski, who has basically spent his entire career off the field with injuries, and he was finally healthy for spring. So maybe I'm more of a sentimental thing, like I just want to see the guy succeed, kind of like Jeff Bowie last year, but he's entering his senior year. His career has flown by. He was a big win on the recruiting trail when they got him initially out of the state of Florida. So they need help at guard, and they're going to need depth regardless. No pun intended there. So let's see on Michael Myslinski. Be a good story.
Yeah, Steele says about Iowa State's offensive line this season, the Cyclones lose a 4th-team All-Big 12 center in Hufford, along with Princeton transfer left tackle Jalen Travis, who was drafted by the Colts in the 4th round. They return right tackle Miller, along with right guard Brendan Black, who moves to center, James Neal, and Dylan Barrett. Jim Boniface had 12 starts in 23. Overall, 105 starts return. We anticipate Iowa State having another strong offensive line. Iowa, by the way, 85 starts coming back.
In my opinion, and I think most Iowa State fans, the 2020 team had a very good offensive line. They were I think they were a finalist or a semifinalist for that offensive line of the year award, or that I can't remember what that one's called, but
Joe Moore Award.
Yeah. They were of course the Iowa guy would know that. But we were a finalist for that in 2020, but other than that, it's been such an inconsistent position group. I remain cautiously optimistic because of how much experience you have returning back, but we'll see. I will defer to Iowa on the offensive